Hello and welcome to the Botanic Garden. During the pandemic we introduced Wellness Wanders so that we could share our garden with the many visitors who were able to come and join us in person. Today it's a pleasure to bring you another Wellness Wander, taking a look at some of the late season interest that we have to offer. We're going to start here in our 20th century garden looking at the systematic beds, which were established as a research and teaching facility in 1846. And from there we're going to head up to the other end of our 40-acre site to look at herbaceous island beds, which are planted purely for amenity purpose and bring horticultural inspiration to our visitors. The systematic beds were established as a teaching resource for the university, and here you can study not just plants within the same family but also compare different families and their flowering plants. We're starting here with Sambucus edulis, whose glossy berries glisten in the autumn sunlight here. This is a member of the Adoxaceae family, and from here we're going to turn and wander across to the daisy family, which is one of the largest of the flowering plant families and provides valuable late summer and autumn interest. So here Vernonia altissima is throwing up wands of purple blooms. And you can see here lots of interest in form and structure in the daisy family. So one of the plants which has relished the recent rains here in the garden is this beautiful daisy, Ligularia dentata Desdemona. And in contrast to this, a typical daisy flower that I'm particularly fond of, as it brings delicate form and colour to the garden at this time of year, is Bidens aurea, Arizona begatix. And we've hopped across another section of the systematic beds, here to admire the potato family and some of its late flowering relatives. So this is Brugmansia suaveolens. Beautiful flower, just catching the early morning sunlight here in the garden. And beside it, one of the Nicotianas or tobacco plants. This is Nicotiana sylvestris. You can see these beautiful, elegant tubular flowers held above great, lush foliage. But it is these flowers that provide beautiful fragrance in the evening in the garden. So if you're looking for something to enjoy of a late summer's afternoon, then this is perhaps the plant for you. And here in the central section of the systematic beds, we're amongst the monocotyledons, so plants that germinate with one true leaf. So things like the palms, the grasses and the lilies. And here you can see Trachycarpus fortunei putting on a spectacularly exotic show. And beside it, one of the pampas grasses, which is just throwing up flower stems, which will produce beautiful plume-like flowers later in autumn. And heading through the grasses, or the poaceae, you can see a wealth of plants which provide structure and interest without flamboyant flower at this time of year. So another of the pampas grasses, this time Cortaderia celoana pumila, is just flowering, looking beautiful with these silk-like tassels. And towering above it, Arundo donax. And as we head through the grass plantings, you can see wonderful plants which just bring texture and make you want to really waft your hands through these delightfully graceful flower stems. And here we're going to settle on what I think is one of the joys of the grass family. So the feathery Pennisetum villosum. It's just divine with these almost fluffy flower heads here drooping elegantly along the grass edge. And from this historic corner of the garden, I'm going to head up to the 20th century garden to take a look at some of the herbaceous plantings there which bring further late season interest. I've headed across our 40-acre site to come and have a look at the herbaceous island beds, and here you can see a great medley of flowers and plants giving structure, form and interest in the autumn season. And these beds are planted in great contrast to the systematic beds to provide just horticultural inspiration and pleasure for our many visitors. Here you can see the plume flower Macleia cordifolia towering above Anaphylis triplinervis. And one of the supreme contrasts and plantings here is Aster fricatii Munk, here nestled against one of the grasses, Pennisetum orientale, to great effect. And the beds are really a concoction of colour and form. So here, Rudbeckia laciniata is growing beside the erupting mounds of one of the miscanthus. And Stipa gigantea, the giant oat, here is putting up graceful form above Symphyotrichum Bars Pink. And some plants have now gone over and are past their flowering, but these continue to provide seasonal interest. So here we have a wonderful planting of Nacella tenuissima, Eryngium giganteum and Sedum madrona, which all combine to create interest which could easily be replicated in even a small garden. So a wander around our herbaceous beds, I hope, provides interest for the keen gardeners out there to just try and do something very similar to bring late season interest to your garden at home. Thank you for joining me for this wellness wander, and I hope to be with you again soon.